Okay, I'm in a cemetery here. It's a Native American cemetery, and some of these grave sites go back a long time. I have found them in here from the late 1700s, but I can't find those today. This one here, Sarah Blackcorn. She died in 1905. She was 76. So that puts her back, I think 1829, 1830, somewhere in there, just a little quick math. And so you can think about what it was like when she was here. Who knows what her life was like personally, but we do know that she was born and lived in a teepee. They lived in teepees at that time. And I'm on the Standing Rock Reservation here. And we know that they hunted buffalo, and they lived off the land, and they were close to the Missouri River here, and no doubt that was their food source. And in some ways they probably were not much different than us, and in other ways they were hugely different than us. They were so close to the land, and if you can find a Native American that still is within the culture, you won't find one like Sarah here. I highly doubt that. But if you can find one that still embraces the culture, you'll understand how close to the land they were and how spiritual they were. And Sarah's name, you can tell that there was white influence around here, even though it wasn't much. It was very little, but there were probably missionaries coming through and maybe French trappers and traders. But if she could talk, if these people in here could talk, it'd be just very interesting to hear the stories, to hear about the masses of buffalo, to hear about the cold winters, to hear about the fighting from other tribes. And of course, Sarah was born before the Laramie Treaty. That was 1851. And that was the start of the settlers, the white government, the U.S. government encroaching and coming in. And in 1851, they signed the treaty, and then it was redone in 1868. And it was in her lifetime where she would have been rounded up and put on a reservation. So she knew both lives. She knew the freedom and the closeness to the earth, and then she knew of depending on the U.S. government for food rations. And I just wish I could have some oral history. I'm too old to have those links going back to Sarah's time, but it would really be interesting to have oral history. In other words, Sarah died in 1905. Maybe somebody knew her that was born in 1890 and could carry on those stories that she could tell. So anyway, I love looking around in these places, and I do feel somewhat of a kindred spirit, because as a trapper, even though it's 2020, in some ways I'm close to the earth. Not like these people, because I can go home and I can sleep in a warm bed, and I don't have to worry about finding firewood to heat the teepee. But in some ways, I harvest from the earth, just like they did. They were so dependent on Mother Earth, and they respected her. And so it's just intriguing to look around at these places. Rest in peace, Sarah.